Morning peeps, Mitch here from MJB Seminars, where you liberate, empower and inspire yourself to be the greatest example of your creation. Now I want you to plug in and tune in just for 2 minutes. I want to talk to you this morning a little bit about something that I observed happen when we were pregnant with our first child. Now when you first find out that you're pregnant, there's a couple of things start to happen and you start to realize, sure, things are not going to be the same again. And then as that happens, you start to think to yourself, okay, and you're watching Angie's body change, and you know, because she's going through all this emotional stuff, you know, she has changes that occur. And for the first trimester, you kind of get your head around, you start thinking you've got your head around the fact that things are going to be different. And then what happens is, as you go through each trimester, by the time the baby turns up, like, you could never have prepped yourself for what was going to occur. And there is literally no instruction manual for when children turn up. But I then watched over time that, you know, into the second trimester and the third trimester, Ange began to, you know, there were times when she was really, really grateful, but there were times when, you know, it was starting to hit home that she was never going to be the same person again. So she began, what happened was that she began to really mourn the loss of the person that she was. You know, like, there was, you weren't going to be able to party like you used to be able to party. You weren't going to be able to exercise like you used to be able to exercise. You know, you were only responsible for yourself. Now you're responsible for another little being. So as that occurs, you know, there's a certain amount of trauma starts to happen to you. But what I noticed was the quickest thing that we did was that when the baby turned up, within about the first 3 months, you know, there's nothing you can do. It's just all about the baby. But then after a while I said, you know what, we have to start to talk about and embrace the person we're becoming. So to avoid the trauma of letting go of the old self, we had to embrace the person that we were actually becoming as a couple, you know. So it's same when a person makes a decision to change their lives or transform their lives. You know, there's a certain part of you has to mourn the loss of the old you. But to avoid mourning the loss of the old you, the only way to avoid that is to actually embrace the person that you're actually becoming. Embrace the person that you actually want to be. And so how do you embrace the person that you want to be? Well, if you have a look at your value systems and the things that you love doing, you know, and as you let go of the old habitual self and you embrace the new body and you embrace the new mind and you embrace the new characteristics and traits. So if you're saying, okay, I want to become fitter, well, the quicker you start exercising and taking care of your food intake and really watching out for yourself and doing things on a daily basis, you know, if you work out that one of your top values is travel, the quicker you start looking and researching where you want to go to in the world, this is a way in which you embrace the new self. The quicker, if you want a new partner, the quicker, you know, you start to look at, okay, you know, what sort of person am I bringing to the table? Who am I? You know, the quicker you start owning your value systems and the qualities and characteristics that you have to offer another human being, the quicker you fall in love with yourself and you start to embrace the you that you're trying to actually become. So it's really, really rich in order to make sure that you don't mourn the loss of your old self. And as we let go of our old selves, guys, and as we embrace and create congruency between who we are and who we want to be, we are going to go through a certain period, and it's normally in this period that we can end up sabotaging things and sabotaging, you know, our journey and sabotaging all of the great work that we've done. So the quickest way to avoid that is to embrace the person that you actually want to be. Actually stop and start to exercise, do the things that you want to do, work on your personal development, make sure every day you're doing a little something that helps you to change your mind and embrace the person that you want to be, because you cannot create a new future or a new you based on the same feelings and emotions that have created the one that you were in the past. So the quicker you deal with that stuff, the quicker it comes about. I trust that you've loved this video. Remember, guys, love is the only way, love is all there is, live your life inspired. If you know somebody that could do with hearing this video, an eagle that just needs a push, please feel free to share it or tweet it. Take care, guys, have a great week. Bye.